Hey, what's up y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I have something pretty neat that I wanted to share. Today, I'm doing a partial breakdown of our iRobot Roomba Model 620. This unit was initially released in 2012 and it was gifted to us not too long ago. My curiosity got the better part of me and I decided I wanted to tear this thing down because there were parts of this machine that could not be cleaned until you completely tore it down. I wanted to share with you my appreciation for the research and development and engineering that goes into these things, because aside from tearing this thing completely down, which I've already spent the better part of maybe 20 minutes doing, I've gotten to see some really neat stuff that just blows my mind. The fact that you can't see these components working and moving, and the fact that this thing is from 2012 and can still turn on is just absolutely insane, because I feel like a lot of electronics are made with functional obsolescence in mind. In other words, the manufacturer wants you to get rid of it in about 5 years to buy a brand new product, which I don't like. Anytime I can repair something that is well worth its value, I'm always going to try that route. Right here, this is the Roomba 620 main housing unit, and if you can tell, I've pulled out the back receptacle that holds all of the dust, or in other words, the dust bin. And what I had noticed is, looking at the back of it, there was only one way to get to this really, really nasty, ugly spot, because I was trying to clean this to try and make it a little bit better, and because it needs some repairs, we've busted off some of the bristles. But as you can see, I had to do basically a partial tear down. I'm going to be tearing it down and probably replacing the battery and replacing some of the broken bristles, and I might even go as far as replacing the main roller brush that sits inside of the unit. The reason that I'm doing this is because I think this might actually be worth it, assuming I can get the parts for the right price. When I'm done putting this thing all back together or refurbishing it, I will probably put out the numbers of what it costs to do this. Mind you, this was gifted to me, so it cost me nothing to play with this unit. So if I spend 40, 50 bucks, and I think it's money well spent if I can get this unit refurbished. So right here is the lower portion of the dustbin receptacle. Of course, it's in a clamshell style construction, and some of these screws that are in here were actually a little bit difficult to get to just because of how deep those channels run into there. And a word to the wise, one of the things that I need to do is buy like an electronic mat, because if you can't tell, this countertop is really hard to see some of these screws that are here. Let's see. So word to the wise, if you're going to be doing any electronic teardown, I would highly recommend that you don't do it on a surface like this, because it's actually really difficult for me to see these screws right now. In fact, there's like this little teeny tiny one. Yeah. So pro tip, my intuition says that this is probably just a single fan system that we've got here. The soldering on the servos here is actually remarkably clean. I was thoroughly impressed at just how well this was put together on the inside of it, because sometimes manufacturers can get a little sloppy on the parts that you can't see. So even the clips on the upper clamshell for this fan device, I just like really love that. I really appreciate the amount of research and development that goes into this, because getting access into this unit is actually really neat. I know a lot of manufacturers, once you get into the main running components of stuff, they start to kind of block you from getting in there, from being able to do self-service. But this, I've just gone ahead and mostly cleaned out this unit. There's a little dust in there that needs to go. But what I'm thinking is perhaps I can get some oil down here onto this pin where it's rolling. I don't know if they have a bearing down there. If I could get it out without breaking it, I would definitely love to do that. Then we just need to replace some bristles, the battery, and a roller, and we're gonna be good to go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your partial teardown of the Roomba 620. Here's the tool set that I've been using for many years to break down electronics. I cannot tell you how many times that I've had to use this thing, and it has come in absolutely clutch. So whoever made this, hyper tough. Yeah, these guys are awesome. I think I spent 20 bucks on this, and I've had it for well over 5 years at this point, and this thing is just an incredible buy. That's all I have to share with you guys today. It looks like I'm gonna have to be doing a little bit of part shopping, figure out what some of these refurbishment pieces are gonna cost me, and I'm hoping that I can get it all for under like 50 bucks. I think that would be the best thing, because once this thing is all cleaned up, I have a feeling that I'm probably not gonna have to toy with it for another several years. Roomba, thank you for your robust design on this thing. I really appreciate the development that y'all put into this, and I was just shocked to learn today that Roomba debuted in like the early 2000s, and the fact that a 2012 unit is as well put together, not really anything is broken, so to speak, other than main consumable items. This thing's pretty well built. Thanks, Roomba. I'm Joshua Allen with the Retro Realtor team. This has been your partial breakdown of the Roomba 620. Thanks, and we can't wait to see you on the next one.